We are now ready to begin with our first session of the evening, Conversations with Shri Upendra Nath Behera. May I now invite upon the moderators, Professor Dr. D.V. Ramana and Professor Jatin Nayak, along with our distinguished contributor for the evening, Shri Upendra Nath Behera, to kindly take the stage and take over the discussion. Thank you so much.
Once the famous Kapil Dev was asked, that when a very great batsman is in front of you, how do you start the process, the day? He said that I test the batsman the other side with the toughest ball I have in my armory. So, you know why I'm saying that, So we have a great bureaucrat, regulator, an IITian, a technocrat. So obviously I thought that I will set the ball rolling with a difficult question. Then I will decide how it will go. And it's not my question. When I said that I'm going to have a conversation with Mr. Behera, or Dr. Behera, I'm sorry. The question is like this: why do retired bureaucrats always end up with taking positions as the commission's chairman?
Okay, you should have asked this question to the person who appointed me, not me who got appointed. You should have asked this question to the person who appointed me. Anyway, I can justify my coming to this position because we have some wider experience in various fields. Electricity regulation just doesn't relate to electricity or regulation. It relates to various other subjects. And as civil servants, we have worked in various different areas. And to do justice to the organization and to various different disciplines, people from this kind of background will always do good job. But then it's not necessary that always only civil servant or IAS officers have come to regulatory commissions. There have been states, even now also, retired High Court judges have been chairman of regulatory commissions. Very brilliant electrical engineers have also become electricity commission chairmen. So happened that in Odisha we have had a number of IAS officers, but we also had an officer from the Indian Postal Service once who came as he was the first, no, not the first, he was the second regulatory commission chairman. We had one from the Indian Audit and Account Service. So these kind of people have always come. It's up to you all to decide whether civil servants are doing a good job or not.
That's true. No, that's right. I know that all over. It's not just the Orissa phenomena. It's always. You may ask that why I'm having a sheet of paper. I had the privilege of working with Dr. Behera as a member of the SSC when he was the chairperson. But more important than that, we always say that learning is a lifelong process. I was amazed at the commitment, the sincerity with which Dr. Behera became our student, meticulous learning, meticulous spending time in the library. So therefore, I have come prepared with my notes, So Dr. Behera, you have seen Orissa's Dr. Nayak, anytime you can also chip in. We don't have to make a watertight compartment of power sector and the other when you are talking with a powerful person. Okay, so Dr. Behera, you have witnessed Orissa's power sector journey from days of reform to today, and Orissa, all of you know, we are all actually were the first not only in the country but in the South Asia to start the regulatory commission. We are the first to reform, set the ball rolling of the reforms. And all other states in the country and other parts of the SAARC countries also followed us, picked up few lessons from us. But my question to you, why is the regulatory participation of intellectuals in the regulatory process not as expected or as evolved in Maharashtra, Telangana, or Andhra Pradesh? What is actually ailing the sector? Why intellectuals are not participating? What is your personal view on that?
I would say that intellectuals have all along been associated with the regulatory process. You have been in the state advisory committee member for more than 10 years. You yourself said many such people distinguished in this area have come to the in different sectors have come to the state advisory committee as members, and we have always taken your advice very seriously. If you remember, I used to take these meetings pretty regularly, and I used to hold long session, hear all of you very carefully, and we have a Odisha's regulatory process is very in electricity sector is very strong, I must say. We are one of the forerunners in electricity regulation, and as you rightly said, we are the first state in the country to have set up regulatory commission. 1995, Odisha Electricity Reforms Act was enacted. This was the first act in the country, and the central act that governs this sector came as late as 2003, 8 years after the Odisha Commission was created. And in the meantime, between 1995 and 2003, 7-8 other states also came up with, and they more or less followed the Odisha model of the Electricity Commission. Like you said, Ashok was saying, that our disaster management authority model was the model in the country, role model in the country. Electricity Regulatory Commission of Odisha was also became the model, and let me tell you, we have come up with all new regulation, always the first. We are almost the first. And I had been member of the many of the working group committees when we are members of the Forum of Regulators. All the state regulatory commission chairman are members of the regulatory commission, and Central Electricity Commission chairman is the chairman. I have been member of many of the working committees, technical committees, and we have always contributed to this. We prepare model regulations which is adopted by the Central Commission and which is then adopted by the state commissions. I would say that Odisha has been a leader in this rather.
That's right, that's right. But you are, how do you, if I'll ask you in one word, you are a regulator or a manager or a controller of the sector? How did you, what was your role?
As the name suggests, I was the regulator.
Yes.
No, basically we actually manage this sector in a way that we create the regulations, we implement it also, we decide the disputes. So in a way, it has got a big control, as you said, it is also a control over the sector. So it gives, fair playing field, and regulatory commission's job is to consider the interest of all stakeholders, generator, transmitter, distributor, then consumer, various kind of consumers, domestic consumers, industrial consumers, institutional consumers, business consumers, agriculture consumers, all kinds of consumers, and you have to strike a balance among all these interests. So regulatory commission actually plays a very important role in this sector.
The way, well, listening to your introduction by Sri Bal, I hope you have seen that, Dr. Behera is an out and out a product of government system. He was a student of the government school. He was a product of another great central government institutes like IIT, then become a government officer. But despite this contribution of public institutions, you have been playing role in attracting private sector to the power sector. Is there any logic behind that? Was it by pressure or by conviction?
Okay. Let me come to the background. Worldwide, electricity reform started in early 80s. In fact, it started in Latin American countries when this technical and transmission and distribution losses were very high. Worldwide, the losses were very high, except for West Europe and Americas, North America, not Americas. Latin American countries were very, their losses are very high. Peru is the country which started with these reforms first, and today, and they did it in the right earnest. Right earnest, I said, what is the process of reforms? One is unbundling of the electricity sector. Earlier, as you all know, there are state electricity boards in all the states, and state electricity board means they did everything of electricity. They were the generators, they were the transmission company, they were the distribution, and who was setting the tariff? Government was setting the tariff. And who was reviewing their performance? At the end of the year, whatever profit or loss they were making, State Electricity Board, as per the 1948 Electricity Act, the profit and loss at the end of the year was coming to the government account. If they made a loss of 100 crores in a year, the government from its budget used to give that 100 crores. If they made a profit of 10 crores, it will come to this thing. So it was basically government was managing this. So this system did not work. Worldwide, this system did not work. So Latin American countries started with that. And unbundling means every segment will be separate. In the value chain, generator will be separate, transmission company will be separate, distribution company will be separate, and government will have arm's length from this business. Government will not set tariff. The independent regulator will set the tariff. And tariff will be cost effective. Whatever is the cost incurred, genuinely, that will be the tariff. And that is how the process, the reforms was basically, these are the principle of reforms. And as you said, Orissa was the first state in the country. Then we, as early as 1998, we unbundled the sector. We had two generating companies, one for thermal, that was OPGC, Orissa Power Generation Corporation, one for hydel generation, that was OHPC, Orissa Hydel Power Corporation, one transmission company, Gridco, and we had four distribution companies, Central, that was SESCO, NESCO, WESCO, and SOUTHCO, these four distribution companies. And in the first instance itself, so that government has a real arm's length from these distribution companies, it was decided to privatize those four. All the four were privatized. What happened? This SESCO were taken over by AES, American Electric Supply Company. And the other three companies went to BSES. Then BSES was later on taken over by Reliance. But American Electric Supply came in 1909, and that year this super cyclone was there. The entire, this area, SESCO area, was heavily damaged by the super cyclone. And AES didn't know what to do about it. The damage was so high. You know, the basic principle is anything that is spent on this network or whatever, that has to be recovered through tariff again. Because he cannot do it from his own pocket. It has to be recovered. So that is the principle. Any expenditure made, it has to be recovered through tariff. So they said that if you do all these things, the tariff will go up. Government said that you cannot increase this tariff like this. Then they said that, okay, then let government give us money for restoring all these things. Government also, if you remember, 1999-2000, government financial position, state government's financial position was very bad. So they also said that we cannot give this money. So ultimately AES went away. They left this place. And then, as I said, then when AES went away, government came to manage that company, SESCO. Then after 2003 Act came, it said any company who is abandoning or whose license is being cancelled, the management will devolve on the commission. So regulatory commission became the manager of the distribution company. It also says, as early as possible, the regulatory commission will put somebody in place to manage it. Regulatory commission cannot be the manager. The licensor cannot himself be a licensee. They are licensees, and regulatory commission is the licensor. The licensor himself cannot be the licensee. Then Reliance was managing the other three. There are some issues. Reliance also did not manage it properly. There was some communication gap also. There was some gap in the understanding. So at one point, commission decided to revoke the license of Reliance. In 2015, all the 3 companies licenses. So with the result, all 4 companies' management came on the regulatory commission. As I said, it is legally inconsistent. A regulator cannot manage a licensed entity. That is why legally it was required to go for selling it. Then we spoke with the government if they could manage it. They had already washed their hands off this thing. So they said that no, we will not do it. So that is how it had to. It is as a regulatory process. It had to go to. You had to induct somebody. So that is how we went through it. But I would say that, as you said, government companies can also do well. Government companies could have done well. I'll tell you one state in India is doing very well in this, in the public sector, that is Gujarat. All the 4 distribution companies are doing well. Their losses are within control. Our losses are very much out of control. Our losses 5 years back was more than 30%. 4 companies put together, the AT&C losses, what we call it, aggregate technical and commercial loss, was more than 30%. Fortunately, after this thing, they have brought down the losses to 15.5% now. 15.5%. Bringing down the loss from 30% to 15% in 4 years is very good. Number 2, in the 2024-25, I am told all the 4 companies have registered some profit. They are no more losing. Number 3, in the last year's review, Government of India, Ministry of Power does an annual review. They do a rating of electricity distribution companies. There are 64 distribution companies in the country. 3 out of the 4 distribution companies of Odisha have appeared in the top 10 in the country. That is the achievement that has been achieved. There are certain deficiencies. There are some grievances also. Quality of supply needs to be improved. There are many things are still there. Those can certainly be improved. But one thing, earlier distribution companies were not able to pay the power bill to Gridco. Gridco buys power from the generating companies, they sell it to these 4 companies. So at the end of the month, there is a bill, they have to pay it. And these 4 distribution companies are not able to pay the power bill at the end of the month to Gridco full. And today also, let me tell you, just to cite a statistics, countrywide, the electricity bill default of distribution companies to the generating companies is hoping it is more than 2 lakh crores. And it is some 129 days of credit. You would understand it better. 129 days credit, though they are supposed to pay the bill within 45 days, the credit runs to 128 days average last year. And in these 4 distribution companies that have been brought in, one of the conditions is that they will open LC for 2 months power bill in advance. 2-month power bill in LC. So at the end of the month, Gridco raises the bill on the bank. A bank immediately will pay that to this. So that power bill default is also not there. So these are certain results that have come, but there are certain areas to be improved still that should be pursued and done.
You can see that Dr. Behera is very well prepared for the power sector. I think this is the time to change the bowling change. I'll now request Dr. Nayak to shoot his questions to him. Otherwise, it was becoming, he was preempting what type of ball is coming now. Now, Dr. Nayak.
Thank you. You get the spinner now.
Thank you, Professor Ramana. And your questions were those of an expert. So my questions will be those of an amateur. So my impression of Dr. Behera is that of a very cool, calm and nonchalant person. I don't know how he appears to his family, or I don't know. But I always see him as a very calm so I always thought that, well, he's someone who has never experienced any apprehension, any anxiety, and maybe he was always like that. So since I find him very fascinating as a human being, I'm not asking him questions relating to his expertise as an administrator. So did you always remain so cool, or you have experienced apprehension, anxiety during the journey through life?
I try to maintain, I try to be cool. I normally never get very much agitated. Normally do not get very much agitated. And one principle, somebody told me early in the day that you should not get angry with people. You can show anger, but don't be angry. Angry kills yourself. Show anger. If you have to get particular result for somebody, you can show anger, but don't get angry. So I have been trying to keep the anger to myself inside, not to show it off too much. And I basically maintain a cool composure. To that extent, I normally do not get angry also, not even within. I take everything very cool. Though I do very difficult, I put in a lot of hard work, all that I do, but never get agitated normally.
Like all of us, you have, say, progressed through, say, a village, then a small town, then IIT, then later Tata Motors. You briefly served it as an officer, and then, of course, the civil services. So in this journey, what were your experiences of anxiety and apprehension? Because now you say that, well, you control your anger, but...
Okay. I come from a small village in Cuttack district, Mahanga. I came from a small school. My village school was up to standard 7 only. Very small school. Though I stood first in my class all along. So from there I went to a bigger school. In standard 7 I came to a bigger school, 3 kilometers away from. It's a very big school in that area. It had a good name also. When I came there I was apprehensive. I'm coming to such a big school. I was a topper in a small school, but I'm coming to a big school. That apprehension was there. So in the first 2 or 3 days, I tried to guess who are the guys who are topping in the class. Oh, he's first, he's second, he's third. Okay, so I kept an eye on them. So and as usual, I did my hard work. At the end of the first half year examination, I found myself at the top. So I said, okay, chalo, theek hai abhi. Now I find my place, and that was what I was 100 marks ahead of my second chap in the class in the board exams. About 100 marks ahead of him. So anyway, that was the apprehension why I went there. Then I came to Ravenshaw College. And by that time I had established myself at the state level because I stood 11th I missed West 10 by 1 mark. So I have many friends from Ravenshaw College here today. Ravenshaw College friends are my real friends actually. Yeah. They are all in Cuttack, Bhubaneswar, so many of them I have, they have come in large numbers.
Can you please raise your hands, Ravenshawians?
Yes.
Oh, wonderful.
My classmates. They are all my classmates.
That's
right.
great.
Right.
I'm a Bijavian.
right. No, all those who raised hand, they are my classmates.
Right.
So when I came there, we come from Odia medium schools. There are some English medium students. So when physics class started with vector and scalar, we really found it difficult. Half the sentences we did not understand because they were taught in English. We were taught in Odia all along. So yeah, little apprehensive. Ki kya hoga, dekha jayega. Again, after 6 months or after the first internal assessment examination, you got to know that where you stand. So anyway, that phase also went, but initial phase, apprehension. Then ISC, I completed ISC, went to IIT. IIT is a national institute, big institute, and you come from a small state, and I had a rank in the intermediate science from Utkal University, but there I was all over the country, all top guys coming. There also, but I put in my effort as usual. But apprehensive, very apprehensive. As you said, what was the apprehensive? I was very apprehensive. So there also, after the first set of examinations, I came to know that, okay, and finally, I stood first in my class. So I've gone through this thing, but wherever we went, always it starts with an apprehension. And service also, when you come to the service, this is a different service. You are not taught for this. Yeah. You are taught something else. You did well with that, but this is a different field. So here also there was apprehension, but as you see, if you are sincere, my understanding is, if you are sincere, everything flows from there. If you are sincere, you put in hard work. If you are sincere, you will be honest. You will be honest to your work. You will be real honest also. If you are sincere, everything flows from that. So when I go to schools, when I'm in course my work, when I visited a school, I always say, what is the quality that you should have? I always say that it is sincerity that is the biggest quality. If you are sincere, everything flows from there. So that is what has been my driving principle, sincere.
I think, I think in course of your career, very distinguished career, you have had to take decisions which can involve matters of life and death, for instance. People's livelihoods, people's careers. And for instance, as a teacher, I don't take life and death decisions. My student is bored with me, I am disappointed in him. The world doesn't come to an end. We forget each other, live happily ever after. But in your case, you had to take all these decisions which affected hundreds, thousands of people. And you have been known as a turnaround man. You have made a name as a turnaround man because you have been assigned certain sick corporations or organizations, and you have been able to improve their condition and thereby improve the conditions of people who work there. So what was your technique? What techniques did you adopt? Or were you suited to that kind, temperamentally suited to that kind of work?
Okay. Unlike a subject of engineering or an issue of health, a lot of my doctor friends are here, there are many things black and white. If this is there, you have to do this. So many times in administration, you will not get all the information which are required for taking a decision. You will get only 50% information or 60% information. Many times the information that reaches you, you really don't know whether it is correct or not. Who reaches an administrator? Let us say Secretary to the Government of Orissa. Who reaches the Secretary to the Government of Orissa? First of all, a person cannot enter the Secretariat. A common man cannot enter the Secretariat building. So who gets some? Most of the time, middlemen reach you, or it reaches you through some maybe media reports or something. So many things and sometimes this information is also so distorted. You really have to decide what is correct or what is wrong. But in spite of those kind of information, you have to take a decision. Sometimes very risky decisions also, but we have to take on that basis. But you are talking about turning around. I don't really have much time to talk about turning around. Otherwise, I could briefly. Okay. I'll tell you my first commercial assignment that I got after coming from the district. I was appointed MD of the Orissa Oilseed Growers Cooperative Federation. Orissa Oilseed Growers Cooperative Federation. I came there. It looked from outside it was doing well. They were selling Suvarna brand edible oil, and that was having a good name. They had a regional office in Calcutta, one in Delhi, one in Raipur, Orissa market also. They are selling it. It appeared little glamorous, but when I saw that, first day I discovered the accounts of this. Sir, you would appreciate it better. Accounts of this organization, commercial undertaking, was in arrear for 4 years. Mr. Kaur, chartered accountant, is here. He knows what is the importance of audit, accounting and audit. 4 years accounts were in arrear, let alone auditing. The accounts had not been finalized for 4 years. So, as a part of our curriculum in IIT Kharagpur, I took 4 papers of management in 4 semesters. 2 in industrial management, 2 in operation research. So I knew how to read balance sheet, profit and loss statement, unlike many others. So I knew that. So I asked my director of finance, please show me the financial statement, balance sheet, and I said, give me the annual report. He said, sir, the accounts have not been finalized for 4 years. What kind of annual report I'll give you? I said, then how are you running the business here? Then give me some. Then what are you doing? He said, we are having some provisional accounts. I said, okay, give me provisional accounts. So he gave me a set of provisional accounts, balance sheet and profit loss account. I took it home, studied it. I found many mistakes and discrepancies. Next day I told him, what is this? So many mistakes and discrepancies. Sorry, sir. I'll rectify it and give it. So 2 days later he comes with another set of balance sheet and profit loss account. Again I go through it. There are so many mistakes again. Sorry, sir. I'll in 15 days, he gave me 6-7 sets of these accounts. So in 15 days, I said, how can you run a business like this? Then I thought that something has to be done. I had gone to Calcutta branch. So I was roaming in the College Street, those old books up. So from there I spotted a book, Double Entry Bookkeeping by Batley Boy. You know that, huh? Double Entry Bookkeeping by Batley Boy. I said, if you have to learn these people's trick, one has to read this Batley Boy. I brought that book. And believe me, within 15 days I finished that book, including on exercise. I knew journals, trial balance, preparing profit loss account, preparing balance, everything I mastered. So I got it. Now I got it. Then this is how, then I engaged a large number of chartered accountants. I don't know whether Mr. Kar, you are there part of it or not, I don't remember, but large number of chartered accountants for finalizing the accounts of all these our branches and this thing, and we did it. We updated the accounts, we audited all that, and very interesting case came up. We are borrowing money from the banks for working capital. Normally for working capital borrowing, you hypothecate some stock. Groundnut was our groundnut. We are procuring groundnut and processing. Groundnut was our stock. Against a particular stock in a godown, these people had borrowed 2 crore rupees from National Dairy Development Board, who was our promoter kind of thing. And same stock they have sold to a big bank and taken 2 crores there. Okay, 2 crores from NDTV and 2 crores from this bank. And this bank normally gives you cash credit. So this bank had a credit limit of 2 crore rupees. And we had drawn 1 crore 40 lakhs that day. 60 lakh was still there cushion. We used to draw it for salary, this, that, other expenses. So suddenly one day, this bank froze our cash credit account. Why? They discovered that these people have shown same stock at 2 different places, so they froze our account. Then our business is stopped. So the director of finance, his first advice is, sir, you talk to the bank and they might. Then I took an appointment with the head of the bank, went to him. I was very passionate. First of all, you cannot draw salary, no petrol, nothing, you cannot do anything. Your factory also will close. So I said, very passionately I made the presentation. At the end of the talk, the head of the bank was there, his credit manager was there, and I was there, 3 of us. So he had ordered coffee. They were drinking their coffee. I had not touched my coffee. I was so passionate I had not looked at the coffee even. So coffee thanda ho gaya. I finished this thing. Then he was very courteous in offering me coffee. But when he came to the final dish, and sorry, Mr. Behera, we cannot do anything about it. It is our policy, we cannot do anything about it. I came back home. So we came back to the office, very disappointed. Then somebody told me that there is a bank here, Oriental Bank of Commerce. They are a new bank. Why don't you talk to their chief manager? A small bank chief manager. I called the Oriental Bank. Again in the afternoon over a cup of coffee, I made another passionate presentation to him. Give me some money, I have a good proposal, we'll make money. Okay, sir, I'll make a recommendation to the head office. And he came back after 7 days, 25 lakh credit limit sanctioned. It was a big relief to us. And believe me, that 25 lakh credit turned us around. We took up a business that says a year. We made 50 lakh profit that year itself. And with that 25, I tell always, later on when I became finance secretary, I tell all the banks, you should look at the problem of the client. What does he need? Is he taking money for something, or does he have a good business plan? And when a company is sick, a lakh or 2 will really turn him around. But if you do not give him that 1 or 2 lakh, had we not got that 25 lakh from that bank, Oil Odisha would have gone sick that day itself. And I stayed there for 4 years. 4 years, we made profit. But no, the punchline has not come. There is another interesting part to it. Another interesting part to it. What happened? Then we did very well profit. Then we had fixed deposit in the bank. Then this particular bank, I think they got this thing from the head office. Ki, what happened to your oil seed account? Why is it not operational? So he wrote a letter to the Chief Minister, Honorable Chief Minister of Orissa. Late Biju Patnaik was the Chief Minister at that time. So CM was surprised. Why is a bank writing that take loan? He was surprised. Then he said, what is this? Then he asked the Chief Secretary asked the Agriculture Secretary. Agriculture Secretary called me. I said, you make a plan here. You make a plan. Let us see how much money that bank will give. I prepared a plan. 5 crore short-term loan, 10 crore medium-term loan, another 10 crore long-term loan, 25 crore the proposal I made. Then it was just Sunday. So CM called all of us for a meeting. Chief Secretary was there, that bank head was there, Agriculture Secretary was there, I was there. Then they said, then what? Then he said that we want to finance oil seed sector. And so CM looked at me. What is this thing? Any plan? I said, sir, I have a plan. 5 crore short-term loan, 10 crore medium, 10 crore long-term loan. Impressive. So without batting an eyelid, the head of the bank says, we'll pay this 25, we will give this 25 crores. CM was very happy. Everybody was happy that 25 crores he is asking and bank is prepared to give 25 crores. That day was big money. Then business. So then immediately the bank head says, but sir, you have to give us government guarantee for that. That is every banker's trick. If they give it to a government company, they will say that government guarantee. It is sovereign guarantee. It will definitely be discharged. So there is no money is not at risk. But you have to give government guarantee. Biju Patnaik broadband. Of course, I will give government guarantee. Of course, I will give. I said, this is the time I must hit. I said, sir, I don't want government guarantee to be given for this. Why? What is wrong with you? Biju Patnaik was very this thing. Why an MD saying that I don't want government guarantee? Every MD dies for taking government guarantee to political loan, and this fellow is saying that. I said, sir, I have a good business plan. I will make profit. I will generate surplus. I can repay my loan. Why do you have to guarantee my loan? Why does government? Sir, so many private companies are operating in the state. Have you given government guarantee to anybody? I told this thing. CM was very happy. Yes, he's right. He's right. Then he said, then he looked at the banker. He's right. I am not giving guarantee to any private man. We have given them hundreds of crores of rupees. Why do you want guarantee from? What kind of banker are you? He said, what I am not going to tell you here, but he said, he said, well, I don't want to say that. So, of course, Biju Patnaik, the man he was, immediately, next moment, he said, okay, don't worry. Whatever this boy may say, I was very young that time. Whatever this boy may say, I'll give you the guarantee. Give the money, I'll give the guarantee. So, I will return.
Where is the punchline?
Punchline will come again.
We are waiting for that.
That was a fascinating anecdote. But
this punchline was, I got the satisfaction of my life there. Yeah. When Biju Patnaik said that, what kind of banker are you? Yeah. Incidentally, same man who has refused me that 60 lakh rupees was prepared to give me 25 crores here. Same man was there.
That's the punchline.
Same man was there.
Yeah.
And
but we would like to ask a punch question now. Now, you said that you had an interaction with Biju Babu, then Naveen Babu. Often in the last 2 decades, we have been talking about how to draw a line, the bureaucrats and the politician. How did you manage that? How did you manage a good distance, maintaining a good distance with the politicians?
A bureaucrat's strength is the law and the rules and procedures. Follow the law always. You have to follow the law. Do the right thing, follow the law. And when in doubt, dig at the law book deeper. If you have any doubt, see the law thoroughly. If you have any doubt, follow the law. Otherwise, you can take discussion, this, that, but in doubt, law. And let me tell you, there has been so much of debate about bureaucrats versus politicians.
How? Yeah, we will, of course.
No, one minute.
Yeah.
Bureaucrats versus politicians. I would say that bureaucrats can implement everything, but politician feels the pulse of the people. Bureaucrat cannot do that. Therefore, I would respect politicians to that extent that they feel the pulse of the people, and they really come up with better solutions that way. We can implement, bureaucrats can implement it, but pulse of because at the end of the day they will go to seek votes. Bureaucrat doesn't have to go to seek his appointment or reappointment. So that is the thing. We must honor that. We must honor that.
But that also brings us to another. I'm sure some of you are aware where I'm coming from on this particular question. I've also shared my views on this in public forum. This is personal question to you. You have been a seasoned bureaucrat and a chairperson of a regulatory commission. Of late, we are seeing that the lines are getting blurred between a statutory position like a commissioner, chairperson of a commission, and presidential position of a private clubs. So, how do you think that is this compromising the independence of the chairperson by being a president of a private club? I
know what you are hinting at. No, let me tell you. Private
Your background also.
No, no. Club president. You are talking of Bhubaneswar Club. That let us be. There is no secret. Bhubaneswar Club initially was a government club with few officers club, and some private people were there right from the beginning. Private people were. In fact, Biju Patnaik was president of at one point of time. He was the president of the club. Jhunjhunwala was president of the club. The club was running from Jhunjhunwala Garden near station. The club was operating from Jhunjhunwala Garden. So private people had been president, government office, but most of the time chief secretary had been this thing. So as long as chief secretary remains the president of the club, there is no dispute. He doesn't go to seek votes from anybody. But when we are outside, we are going to seek votes from people. We approach everybody. We approach people. So there it becomes a little problem. So I would suggest that Bhubaneswar's club should again go back to the chief secretary becoming the club of the president. That would be a better thing.
Yeah, I have a question.
The floor is open for 2 questions.
I'm taking one question. My question is a very simple one. Actually related to... I can round it up. My question is, excuse me. Okay, you're better. Excuse me, actually, basically about your electrical part of it. This coastal area has been known all the time for cyclones. In many international places where cyclone effects are there, the electrical lines are either buried underground or given through cables. Has this commission ever thought about that right from Berhampur up to Balesar, that we make the entire towns and cities and the villages totally cable operated, and so the electricity will not get disrupted during cyclone? I don't see that. You see overhead wires everywhere. I'm not talking about the high tension. I'm talking in the cities and towns. Can you please comment on that?
See, actually underground cables are very expensive.
Agree?
Underground cables are very expensive. So you have to spend that kind of money for that. But now Bhubaneswar major portion have been covered under underground cable. One major feeder line from Chandka grid up to powerhouse, 132 kV grid is power line has come with underground, and many other places in the city already covered by underground. So part of Berhampur, which is also cyclone affected quite often, that has also been covered under underground, but it is expensive.
But
So
overhead cables can be cheap. I've seen in many countries overhead cables are there. So that's easier, cheaper, can be handled. Because see, instead of having 4 or 6 lines,
No, overhead cables for LT lines.
Yeah.
It is already there in the city.
but
Many of
actually,
the places,
you would say about
many places, the overhead LT lines, not high tension line.
no,
LT lines are already
talking about LT lines only.
LT lines. Many are no. That is used for another reason, to prevent theft.
That's good.
My account.
Madam.
First of all, congratulations to Upendra and both of you for that scintillating conversation that you had. So you were talking about your expertise, technical most probably, but work-life balance is a big thing these days. So I was wondering whether your time it was very big, and whether you ever felt that you didn't have that synchrony between work and life. Did you feel that pressure sometime? Whether disappointments, in the home front and stuff like that. So I was wondering if you could comment on that.
No, right. To that extent, I would say that my wife is here. I have been unfair to my family to a great extent. But anyway, my wife has managed the home. So that has, we have seen it that way. But because I put in a lot of efforts, I was very sincere. I was telling you when I was heading that organization where we are having losses for many years, I won't be able to sleep in the night. Whole night I'll be thinking of something, this, that. I know if you are involved, if you are sincere, if you are involved, you cannot sleep in the night. And that kind of problem, like let us say cyclone time, flood time, there have been many nights we didn't sleep. Many nights we have not slept. We just survive like that.
I think Mrs. Upendra Behera deserves a big hand.
Yeah, definitely.
Of course. I would like to rephrase your question to him, that he used to regulate the power sector. We want to know who is to regulate at home. You are unregulated, or
No.
who was the regulator at
The
home?
regulator at home is obviously the regulator of the home. Okay.
Thank you all for giving an entertaining session. I didn't know that Mr. Dr. Behera was so good at telling stories.
But is there not truth?
No, it's not story. What I'm saying is his narration. It appears to be a story. I have two questions.
Oh, one only.
No. This is related actually. One is that we are taking a lot of pride that we are pioneer in electricity reform in Asia. My first question is whether it was a compulsion loaded on us or we did it voluntarily, number one. And number two, is Orissa was the ideal state to take up this reform? Because it is already 30 years we are through this reform process, yet our electricity sector is not standing up. Thank you.
No, I'll tell you. Why did reform start in the first place? As I said, State Electricity Board, whatever losses they incurred, at the end of the year, they gave the bill to the state government would meet that. So that was the thing. And state government gradually found it difficult to give that kind of money to this thing. And there are no accountability. Shall I tell you one interesting fact? Every year, there is no concept of measuring this T&D losses. They were reporting something, surprisingly, in early 90s, Odisha was reporting a T&D loss of 12% or 13% something, and every year they used to reduce by 0.5%. Religiously every year they will reduce by 0.5%, and it had reached 12%. After the reforms was taken up, because end of the day all loss was being met by the state government. At the end of around 2000, when the accounts were seen, the losses were of the order of 60%. 60%, not only in Odisha, all the states in the country. Losses were of the order of 60%. And they are reporting only 13%. So gradually we are reducing, after the reforms took place, we are gradually reducing the losses. we are talking about Orissa. Today, 17% of the income or revenue of all the distribution companies of the country put together comes from government subsidy. Government subsidy. Odisha government to this state doesn't have to pay a single paisa in subsidy. Not a single rupee for the last 25 years or 30 years, government of Odisha has not given a single rupee in subsidy. But other states, they are giving subsidy, massive subsidies, basically to get votes, nothing else. Delhi, one day they decided that up to 200 units absolutely free, and 200 to 400 units 50%. And many states, the tariff in Rajasthan today is 9 rupees if they don't get subsidy. By giving subsidy, they bring it down to 4.5 rupees. More than 50% subsidy is given by Rajasthan government. So if government meets that kind of cost, it has another problem. I had been finance secretary also, I know. Governments are not able to pay this money. In 2005, sir, this FRBM Act came, Fiscal Responsibility and Budget Management Act came, which said that no state can have a revenue deficit. So all the states are revenue surplus. Today, 20 states in the country are revenue deficit. Odisha is not revenue deficit. Odisha still maintains a revenue surplus. Odisha is not. If you give indiscriminate subsidy like this will happen. So I would say Odisha has not done badly in this electricity sector. Odisha has really done well. Instead of government not giving any subsidy, the tariff is still not pinchingly very high. And remember, in the last 4 years after this PPP model was taken up, there has been no hike in tariff. Out of all the benefits that we are listing, one of other benefit is that in the last 4 years there has been no hike in the tariff, because they reduce the losses, so they are able to manage. So without hiking the tariff, they are able to manage it.
Thank you very much. I know. Well, wonderful to see you.
Long ago, 10, 12 years back, I was CEO CESU. Hello. Yeah, so simple question is, sir, we have been submitting, like annual budget we submit to the departments, then the government takes a call on that. हम लोग जब CEO we were heading the distribution companies, we'll project our annual revenue requirement with a particular AT&C loss. Say we'll project it will be 35, 36 or 40%. Those days, still now things must have improved down the lane over 10 years. We were invariably allowed not more than 23%, very well, OERC knowing it is next to impossible for the distribution companies to achieve that AT&C loss of 23%, whereas the actual loss was hovering around, if LT sector mein dekhenge, ultimate was hovering more than 50%. I think Dr. Ramana is very well aware, he was part of the board that time, but still we were given, consequent to that, we had substantial revenue shortfall. As a result, we were unable to provide a proper routine maintenance also to the distribution sector. The second one, what Sir Dr. Behera told, I worked under him when he was a forest secretary also. Government is not giving us subsidy here in Odisha, but it's a cross-subsidized tariff which is leading again to the loss of the distribution companies. So these are the two major things I feel government, as a regulator, ORC should take a call on that, and the government should be moved in to provide, as other states are providing subsidy. I think then only distribution companies can perform financially better. Thank you.
No question. It's not a question. It's a statement. Thank you very much. I request all of you to give a big clap to Dr. Behera. And it was a very interesting, very nicely combined his personal life with a powerful life, with a strong backup of his regulator at home. Thank you very much. Over to you.
Thank you. I'm sure we might have a few more questions as well, but we can take those. Hopefully, sir will be able to answer those during the high tea. So that was indeed a deeply engaging and thought-provoking session. Our heartfelt thanks to Sri Upendra Nath Behera, Professor D.V. Ramana, and Professor Jatin Nayak for such an enlightening conversation that beautifully connected governance, policy, real-world reform, and thoughtful reflection, and also gave us a glimpse of Sir's personal experiences. So we would now like to take a moment to felicitate our panelists. May I request Padma Vibhushan, Shri Sudarshan Sahu, and Shri Ashok Kumar Bal to do the honors and felicitate our panelists with the citations and Uttarya. Sir, please. सर से लिखा लीजिए. Thank you, Sudarshan sir and Ashok sir, for the felicitation. And once again, our deepest gratitude to our panelists for sharing their time, wisdom, and experience with us in this evening.